What do you mean, darling? You wanted, you my soy.
Yes.
Why you think you're always beautiful, darling? Don't you
I
want?
make up today. Okay, when you video me, you have filter.
Filter.
For filter, nah.
Anyway, g'day folks, how are you?
Okay. If you not filter, you not show video this.
If I not put a filter on, because she hasn't made them. She's beautiful, don't you think? This is okay. We're not here to talk about her beauty, we're talking about my life, and she's a very big part of my life these days. Yeah, I have a crib sheet, so I'm going to show you some photos to go along with the story. I get a number of people ask me about my life and, you know, how I got to where I am in 2021, being 60 years old. I was at 40 years old in a few months, whichever way you look at it. Anyway, so my life started back in 1961, back in Sydney, Australia. I think it was my mother and father had a place in Ryde. Now this photo here, I think was taken around about circa 1962, ish, maybe end of 61, who knows. And that was me with my mum and my cousin Rodney and his mum. It's the first recollection, really sort of photo I've actually had in my life. Moving along, I think one of the things I've had there was a whole bunch of stuff that I've had in my life, photos and Super 8 film and all that sort of stuff, which has been mislaid in a process which we may cover in this video. But outside that, I have very, very few photos that really sort of confirm my existence pre-1991, which is when my girl at the time started sort of filing away all the memorabilia in photo albums and things like that. Before that, it was just always thrown in a box, which was my father's. And long story short, yeah, I pretty much don't have much information and photos before 1991. Anyhow, so 65, there's a couple of snapshots there. There's a snapshot of me and my daughter, me and my sister, and on the front porch of our house in Brett Avenue. Then, of course, 1966, we went to a christening where my sister, she was the bridesmaid, and you know, she was all doled up to the nines. I just remember that as one of the first recollections of something we did out of Orange. Then, of course, 1967, and here's a school photo. I wonder if you can pick me in the school photo there. It's a bit hard. I know the resolutions aren't that great. You know, I've had to resize a lot of stuff because, you know, they're all snapshots from poor image quality from, I think there's something my mother sent me a while ago. In 71, there's a shot from the three of us, me, my sister, and my younger brother, again on the front porch of our house in Brett Avenue there. 1972, there's a school photo, or a photo, I think it was. I was school days going to secondary school. No, that was no, sixth class. 72 was sixth class. At my primary school, so I think it was one of the photo. It doesn't matter. There's a photo there of the of my class in 72, and of course 73. I started going to 4th Street Boys High. That's one of the elitist public schools in Sydney. There's a bit of a picture of what it looked like around about 1972. I remember sort of abseiling off the 4th floor of that building. I think 74. We, you know, as part of the adventure club, abseiling down the front of our building there. Long story short, it was a lot of fun. Yeah. So and then of course 73, 74 was a bit of a weird time because my father was given the ADI posting. Yeah. There's always something happening here in Thailand. Yeah, so 74, we got the ADI posting. We were supposed to go in 74. That got delayed and delayed. Now the government is. So it wasn't until 75 that we actually got my father's posting into Scotland. He was doing the refit, the electronics fit out the Oberon class submarines in 75, and of course, typically, Australian sort of Australian shipbuilding, it was always sent overseas. All this stuff that we could have been doing in Australia, basically, I don't know why they do this sort of stuff. But anyway, we got a posting he got a posting to Scotland in 75. The policy back then, if the husband of a family is away from the family for more than 6 months, family gets to go too, and at the government expense. So they shipped a whole lot of us. I spent the first couple of months in Scotland there in this particular hotel. I looked at what the map, what it was on Google Maps now. That's a picture from now, of course, but I'm pretty sure there was a different name back then, back in 75. But it's interesting enough, the hotel is still there. Moving right along, so this is a photo of the house my father bought. Actually, I don't know whether it was bought or rented, so I really wasn't paying much attention. He may have bought it, but more than likely it was rented for a long lease or something like that, because we stayed there for the whole 2.5 years that we were there. Nice little place in the town called Houston. That's Houston, Renfrewshire, not Houston, Texas. But yes, many a sort of fond memory of my life in Scotland. I still keep in touch with one of my very close friends there that I built a friendship there. There's a picture of. I'm just trying to look at the picture now. Oh, that's the picture of my my school that I went to in 75. That was Linwood High. There's a picture of the three of us going off to school from the front porch of the house in Scotland. My first motorcycle was a Honda SS50. We even had the fittings for because there was a certain rule, they had to be on mopeds, which means they had to be pedal assist. Of course, we never used them for pedal, but so that's not the bike. Of course, I didn't take photos of the bike back then, but I did manage to find a photo of the bike back there for that particular circa, I think 1971 or 72 Honda SS50. Give you an idea, and it's the same colour as well, so it's pretty cool. Moving right along, so we got back to Australia in 78. Here's a picture of so back to 70. That's right. So from 78 through to 91, pretty much all the photos I took disappeared, and they've lost into the ether somewhere. Who knows where they are? They're probably still on the deceased estate's situation because of father's passing. And I've asked my brother to go and sort of see if he can retrieve them. He said he would go and do his best, but that was years ago, and I'm not the sort of person who's going to spend my life trying to figure that shit out. I'm in Scotland. I can't. I'm in Scotland. I'm in Thailand, 7,000 kilometres an hour. Why is my brother, who's supposed to be sort of in charge of the estate, and yeah.
You talk alone. You
I talk a lot. So I'm getting up to you. So I'm only 1978 to 1791. Okay.
You look good, nah. Wow.
What?
Law, nah.
Law what? What you talk about law?
You law.
You think I law?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm not law. I drink Pepsi.
Yeah, you law. Then you see. Law.
Anyway, so long story short, everything from 78 through to 91 disappeared in father's memorabilia, because it was all stored in one box. And when he moved out of our house in Brett Avenue in 95, he took all that stuff with him, and of course then he passed away 7 years ago and all that sort of stuff. And of course we've been trying to get the photos ever since. But anyway, so yeah, a bit of a gap there, like this my working career and all that sort of stuff. You know how it goes. Such is life, as they say, such is life. So did I really exist between 78 to 91? Anyhow, 91 I started doing my own photos.
You see, this is Thai style.
Thai style in the front yard, yeah.
My life, real life.
Your life. You will get to your life shortly, but yours.
Now I show people and my life.
Your life.
Sabai in the house.
She really doesn't have any photos before, well, what not that I can figure out before we met. We've tried to sort of go through some archives of memorabilia, but cameras and stuff like that for Thai people, that's a luxury item, in a typical Thai household, I suppose. We did find a couple of photos, but that'll be another story if we can ever get those photos all sorted out. Anyhow, in '91, this is a picture of my father on the 5-inch gauge live steam railway that ran around our house in Brett Avenue in '91. I'm not even going to go into that story, that's a long story. Come onto our Discord channel and we can talk about that stuff anytime you want. But yes, then Life in Pictures, '91. Yes, there was, we went and spent 5 weeks in England. Took Angie and my daughter to England for 5 weeks. That was the last time I visited England. Caught up with Des and and all that sort of stuff, as you do. A whole bunch of photos. All these photos from here onwards are actually on my Flickr. If you want to spend a day flicking through my Flickr, you're quite welcome. It's all there. I'm a very public person when it comes to that sort of stuff. I got nothing to hide. 1995, I actually married Angie in 1995, so we started dating in '89. It was 95 before we actually got married, and it was really just the insistence of grandmother. She sort of wanted, Sarah was being confirmed that going to be confirmed or something in the Anglican church there, and grandmother was quite concerned the fact that we weren't married, so. Just to appease grandmother, we finally got married. So weird stuff. 2008, just before I met this girl here, which you probably can't see, she's now lying down on the ground. Sabai. Yes, that's a picture of me in 2008 with the beard. There's a picture of Chanya, or should I say, picture of Candy, because when I first met her, her nickname back then was Candy. Yes, Candy.
Yes.
Candy, right? And didn't she look like candy? Looks like a piece of candy. She was very yummy. I came back.
I'm very young at my store.
You were 24 when I first met you.
First time at my store.
Yeah, you're very beautiful. What are you talking about? And then, of course, that was in January. I came back in March. That was a business trip in January. Didn't have much time here. Came back in March. It's a big, busy day with people. I don't know. Somebody else delivering something. Squirrel. So March I came back. That's a picture. I was at Lumpini Park. I think I've showed that a few times around the place. The two of us together gave me support in the beard, which I think on the May trip it was gone because she said she didn't like it, so I took the beard off. Here's a picture. I think that was circa May 2009 on my trip back there. I got to meet some of her girlfriends. We'll put inverted commas there. As you know, she's transgender, so these are her transgender buddies. Then, of course, that picture there, I don't need to get my glasses out. Hold on a second. I remember which photo was that. That's right. That's when I took her to Australia in September. I took her to meet some of my weird friends. That was at the Witches' Ball in September 2008. Big event there with the pagan community. There's a picture of her in front of from the Opera House, or the boardwalk at the Opera House there, shooting across there to picture of the Harbour Bridge. Then of course we've got her out at Katoomba. There's her and the three sisters. There's a picture of the two of us together in 2010 in a tuk-tuk. I'm not quite even sure where we were going that day. That was me, obviously, on one of the trips back here in 2010. Brought her back to Australia in 2011. I quite often get asked about how I take her to Chanya. I've got a mosquito flying around. Did I ever take her did she ever see Australia? So she saw Australia in 2009. She did 10 weeks then. She came back in 2011. There's a shot of her against the Sydney Harbour there in 2011. 2011 was a tragic year in some respects for Thailand. That's when
เขาจะเอามาทำอะไรอ่ะ
ไม่มีเขาย้ายทะเบียนบ้านหมดแล้ว
sorry, the conversation going on there with the delivery guy. Sorry, I'm not cutting this. This is just how life is here in Thailand. Yes, that was this picture here, 2011 during the floods. That's her walking through the flooded streets of Phnom Penh there. I actually came out here to spend that 2 weeks in the toughest times because we'd built a fairly solid relationship at that time. And when you start to reflect on 2011 and looking at what we've got now with the bullshit going on, 2021, what was worse? I think the times in 2011 were tougher because, basically everything shut down. Now it's sort of being piecemeal shut down and, all that sort of stuff. I suppose they're equally difficult, given the fact that I'm living here now. Then, of course, 2012, there's a shot of her in her cabaret. As you know, I think that's how I met her. She was a cabaret dancer. That shot from back 2009 with all pinked up. That was just what she was wearing at the time after one of their gigs. But yeah, so there's a lot of video. There's not a lot of video. So I started shooting video in 2009, but all that stuff's 720p and it's really sort of rough and around the edges. I pulled that down out of my YouTube channel, or my current YouTube channel. It's on the backup YouTube channel. Those pictures and videos are still available for anybody who's on my Patreon account. They are freely available on the Patreon account. Freely available. You've got to be a Patreon. Freely available if you go search in the archives, that is. But yeah, they're still there. They're attached to a different channel now. Late 2012 there. There's a picture of trying to rule the world with Barack Obama in of course the Waxworks Museum, Madame Tussauds there in Bangkok. I always like to look at that picture. It just really reminds me of the times. Pictures always sort of refresh everything in your life, if you know what I mean. 2013, back here in 2013, that was a picture of my birthday in 2013. So that was when I turned 52. What did I say? What would have been 52, 2013? Yeah. So I just turned 52. And just a little bit about that photo there. There's not a single girl in that photo, by the way, just if you really wanted to be critical. And there's a 2014 picture of, again, I'm trying to work out what I took a photo of there. Anyway, another one, 2014. 2015, we're on the Klong down there at, I think, in between Sai Song, Sai Si. There's a Klong, one of the major feeders that takes the water out from the inland. There's a nice little restaurant there that was just taken, just a quick snapshot. 2016, that's of course when I was making my plans. That's the last photo I took of my house in Brett Avenue. And of course, this is of course when I started the the actual live video for us. And of course, the rest of the story because it was sort of June, July. I did my first public video on the YouTube channel. And here's a picture of that same house taken from Google in 2000, it's just on Street View 2021. So it's a recent photo. A bit of a snapshot of our life there. And of course the rest of our life is pretty much straightforward. It's you've seen it ever since 2016. We've been documenting our life, at least one video a week, on average 2 videos a week. It just depends on what we're doing. Like right now I've got no idea what we're going to be doing this week because Bangkok has just hit another lockdown. And here we are, still 5 years later from the channel. You're free to go and look at all the videos. If you want to scroll back, there's playlists and all that sort of stuff. And what else can I say? We are still very happy together, very much in love. And I thought, just to finish off the video, what I'll do is I'll just quickly get this microphone. Yes, so we quickly get the microphone on, and so you saw the picture of the House of Bread Avenue. Right, let's just wander out here quickly. Here's our house now. So they've painted their house white. Ours is sort of a creamy white with a grey. How is that for a coincidence? I don't know if I'm getting a full shot of the house there. But yeah, we're very happy. The grass is growing. She's bought some annuals to hang off here, and they don't like water, and we had a whole bunch of water fall over this week. So it looks like I'm one of the next things. I don't even know if the hardware stores are open, but I'm going to have to get a what do you call it, a lawnmower now to mow the lawn. But yeah, the green grass is soft underfoot, and it's feeling really good. Typical Thai. We don't have clotheslines in Thailand. This is typically what Thais do to hang out their washing. You can see her down at different places there. There's one down there, washing out there underneath the awning. But anyway, that's a snapshot of my life. And now Chanya has to find some photos of her life. How many photos have you got of your life?
How many photos? Oh, many.
But when you're young, I not see.
Oh, I don't have too much photo when I'm young because my family no have money, no have to buy camera when I'm young.
Yeah,
okay.
we sort of alluded to that, yeah.
Yeah. But only me no have a photo when I'm young.
See, all the photos of you start when I meet you.
Yeah, but I work too hard, everything for my life, and I make to my life for good. And now I see Warren, but he take care of me everything, and now my life happy now. Start for when I see you again, and I happy again.
But when I first see you, you were happy. I think you were very happy. Happy when I see you.
First you see me, I happy, but I not show you for I sad in my life. Okay?
Yeah, because you tell me when we meet together, you had just broken with Japanese boyfriend, yes?
Oh yeah.
You tell me that one, yeah.
Broken
heart.
First time he think me late.
Really?
Yes.
Oh
and
my
now
God.
I worry a lot myself.
Yeah.
But in the Falang, he don't care, but Thailand care a lot for me, for my life, because I transgender, and before Thailand don't like, and now in Thailand it's okay, no problem now. First when I'm young, people don't like, and some people family don't like me too, but I make everything for my life, make for people know me. I good for myself. I stronger. I can make everything. I can buy everything when I need. I can support everybody when I need. But in my heart, sad because I lonely in my life.
Yeah,
okay?
and then you meet
and now
me.
I just miss you. I think I'm not lonely for my life because Valen him good for me everything. But I'm not thinking about him for money, but him give for my heart me everything. When I have something in my life, you stay with me all the time. When I have something in my life, you can take care of me everything.
Yeah, 2011 when you had the big floods in 2011 come over.
Yes, everything, but I think Valen.
I remember that time you had big fight in Hollywood, and you boxing somebody, and I come out and I have to put the cream on your leg because you go, oh my God.
But some people bad.
Some
for me, him don't care for. Him think me lady boy. Something like that. I don't care. I don't care. I strong. I don't care everything, and everything is my life. I think now I think myself happy
Yep.
because I have you, I have mom, I have father,
Yeah.
and I have house, I have PopeKael.
Puppy cat.
Yeah.
The puppy. This is our puppy cat. Yeah, like it eats everything. It's more a dog than a cat. But anyway, that's probably what it's like here in Thailand. You know, maybe cats are very fussy in the West, but here they'll eat anything. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. So things we've been doing on the channel recently, we have, of course, just a bit of a plug for our Patreon and our sort of membership in the YouTube. So we do have that option for people. What we have been doing is we've been posting links to those, what they call the shorts. We've been running some shorts, which is a new format for YouTube. It'll probably go public at some stage, but if you want to be plugged into that sort of extra little videos that we do, you've got that option as well as a Patreon or as a channel member. So have a think about, a couple of bucks a month. Yeah, even a couple of bucks a month, I think, like we've got YouTube, we've got Netflix now. And how can somebody justify a couple of dollars a month, to be part of a YouTube platform? It almost sort of seems criminal in my mind that I would even talk about it. But it all helps, As I said, it's one of those sort of things. When you're running a channel, there's camera equipment, it's all bunch of. It is a hobby we've got, but we get a little bit of money that comes from the from those Patreons and members that sort of encourages us to keep on going. This has been 5 years we've been running the channel. Another 5 years to go until I probably can't hold a camera anymore. Who knows? But yeah, so all that support helps. It keeps me active, keeps me wanting to get out there and do something, and keeping you guys entertained. I know. So when you look at it, like people get Netflix, look at all the stuff you got on Netflix for, what's it, $12 US a month. It's pretty hard to even justify a couple of dollars a month. But yeah, as I sort of say to some people, well, if we hung out for once a month, and price up a cup of coffee, that's all it is. It just keeps us encouraged and keeps us going. Anyway, so goodbye from me, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts that you're still with us and still watching our channel for the last 5 years. And it's goodbye from her. Say goodbye again.
ขอบคุณทุกคนนะคะที่คอยซัพพอร์ตแล้วก็ดีใจมากๆที่ได้รู้จักกับทุกคน
Okay.
Thank you very much for support me and happy very much for me for people.
Yeah.
And thank you for people support me and Varian too.
Okay.
Mwah.
I want you to lift me up so